Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fly the Coop. We are so excited today to welcome a phenomenal designer and interior specialist, Heather Peterson Design, who was the mastermind behind a listing we have activating this week on behalf of Becky Early, and they did a collab together that you are going to be blown out of the water. Wait till you see the photography. We're going to be splicing it into this video today. Heather, welcome. We're so excited to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So Heather, how did you and Becky meet? Let's start with that.
Sure. So Becky and I met through her very best friend from growing up in Fargo,
Oh,
who
wow.
her friend Katie, who I met through a friend from junior high.
Oh, wow. Small world.
And the two of them lived down the street from each other.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so,
Wow.
yes. And so when I first was getting into this business, I had this idea for a 2-day makeover. This was like a dozen years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it out on Facebook to see if I could find somebody who had a little bit of a budget to do this kind of quick down and dirty makeover on one of their spaces.
Right.
And this friend from junior high hired me to do that.
Fun.
And it was really fun. We did her master suite, and then the way things go, her neighbor hired me for a daughter's room, and then the across the street, and then the across the alley, and that led us to Becky.
Amazing. Amazing. So how long have you owned Heather Peterson Design?
So I founded this business about 11 years ago.
Okay, congratulations. Well, I'll tell you, your work is brilliant and fun and vibrant. And I just think something different. I think that the color that you're pulling into the work you're doing is magnificent. So tell us what your inspiration is and what drives the design and the collabs that you do with your clients. And we'll spearhead it with Becky's project because wow, it's impressive, everybody. Wait till you see these images. Unreal.
Sure. So we do love color, and we're certainly known for the way that we mix unexpected things together. I'm actually a self-taught designer, and before coming into this career, I was in other kinds of visual production.
Okay.
And I've just always been told that I have a really great eye. But each of our projects is truly inspired by our clients.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't have a specific look that we are known for, though we do have a vibe, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Really, we love to get to know the people we work with, and we strive to create homes that really tell their stories. And that can be any combination of looking to their wardrobe to see what kinds of colors and patterns they like, as was absolutely the case with Becky.
Oh, for sure.
Or sometimes it's working from collections they may have or art that their kids made, but always the kernel of inspiration comes from the client.
Very cool. That is just amazing. So that was a pretty large project. So you spearheaded the whole home, correct? In that particular renovation.
Yes, we actually worked in phases,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that we seem to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think where we started, but I believe it was with the basement.
Okay, which is so cool. We're going to pull that slide up right now. Everybody, check this basement out. It's amazing.
Thank you.
What did you do down there? And what was involved in making that transformation happen?
So the basement was a sort of typical, partially finished, carpeted Minneapolis basement.
Mm-hmm. So many
And
of them out there like
there was
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there was some flooding that led to the carpet needing to come out, and that was sort of where it began.
Mm-hmm.
So I would call it a light renovation. We changed the flooring, we added some features, like a sort of shiplap wall and a custom barn door to hide a sort of awkward storage space.
Mm-hmm.
But largely it was about cosmetic, really creating a mood and making it feel like a place you wanted to be, because
Yeah.
so often these basements just aren't inviting.
I agree. You did a great job. Her son loves it down there.
Yes, Logan does. Um, After that, we then tackled most of the decorating through the main floors of the home. And
Mhm.
the kitchen renovation and addition was actually the last phase, which we
Okay.
completed a couple of years ago.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And the flow is unbelievable. So the colors are brilliant. Is that really driven by Becky and her need, or did you inspire her through something? Was it inspired by a piece of art? What was the drive? Because it really is unique. It's amazing. It looks so beautiful.
So Becky is a really fun client because she's not afraid of color and she's not afraid of taking some risks.
Mm-hmm.
She does like a moody space. So both the basement, the main bedroom, and the dining room all have these kind of deep saturated colors.
Yeah.
And she loves contrast. So we've got a lot of strong black and white going in the kitchen, in two of the bathrooms. And that use of black and white, high contrast graphic patterns is sort of a palette cleanser to all of the color. So that creates that balance and flow through the space.
I love that word, balance cleanser. So where is that? Give people a sense of what that means.
Palette cleanser, well, if you think about when you're out for a fancy dinner and sometimes they give you like a little tiny scoop of some mint ice cream between courses
Mm-hmm.
and it just sets the tone for the next course.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's it's an applicable idea for design, especially in spaces where you've got a lot of intensity happening.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll insert a pause between two really intense spaces. So sometimes that's done through
Brilliant.
color or just a sort of, you know, doing less in a space to give you that breath before you go into the next really dynamic area.
Brilliant. Love it. I love it. So the bedroom upstairs is so charming. So charming what you did up there. It was very
Thank you.
aesthetically like driven by textile, it seems. You put some color through there, but the textiles are beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, there's two bedrooms on the upper level. One is Becky's and one is her nephew Logan's. And both have a really strong identity. Logan's, interestingly, was originally decorated as a guest room before he came to live with Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that it is now, we had to figure out what we could keep
Mm-hmm.
from the guest room and how we could really infuse Logan's personality. And so the star wallpaper on the ceiling was a Logan request. I think he was maybe 10 or 11 when he came
Oh,
to live with Becky. So we wanted that youthfulness. And then we also switched up the dressers, brought in some masculinity. So I always tell people you don't necessarily need to start over. And the first thing that we'll do when we come into a space is to figure out what we can keep and how
right.
we can make it work for the changing needs for a client.
Amazing. Fabulous. So you mentioned earlier, you just came up, we're going to just switch gears for a minute, the dynamic and differentials and all the different projects you're working with, and not necessarily just locally. You just came back from Iowa to consult on a project. So what's your bandwidth in terms of your ability to take on projects? Because I'm sure when people see this slideshow, they're going to be very interested in reaching out. Heather, how much can you manage at a time?
So right now we probably have about a dozen projects going in various phases. So some are kind of in the wrap up and some are just kicking off. We are currently a team of 5 and we
Nice.
do work all over the country, as you said. I lived in New York for a long time, and so my network from those days really stretches.
Fun.
So right now right now we're working in Wisconsin, Iowa, Wisconsin, Chicago, California, Tahoe, Connecticut. We're really all over the place.
Awesome. How fun for you. How fun for you. So how does that work for those interested? Do you go in, fly in for the initial consult? Or how do you start that process? Do you start with a Zoom, or if somebody were interested and they're from not in state, how would you start the interviewing process to figure out the scope of work?
Sure. I have to say, we were doing long distance projects before COVID, but
Mhm.
COVID really made everybody see how possible it is to work long distance.
I
I
agree.
will say that being in a space is important
Mhm.
at some point along the way.
Correct.
There's just so much that you can't learn from photos and videos, but it is amazing how much we can do.
I agree.
So yes, and actually both our local and our long distance projects begin the same way with a discovery call over Zoom after a sort of initial inquiry through our website.
Mhm.
And that's really just an opportunity to get a sense of personality, our clients' hopes and dreams, and to just make sure that we are the best people to help them. We have found that because we work in a lot of styles, we can do most projects, but we want to make sure that that we are the best team to
Mhm.
take on your project.
Mhm.
So that discovery call is where we, kick that off. Once we've decided to work together, we do a walkthrough, whether that's local or long distance.
Mhm.
And from there, we kick the process into gear.
Amazing. So I'm interested because you and I really haven't had a chance. This all happened really quickly. With
Yes.
Becky and Chris, we've been working together for a couple of months. And right before they're getting on a plane for Ireland last Sunday, we found their dream home together. And we're working fast and furious to get Chris's home on the market, which happened today. And next weekend, Becky's home will go on the market. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to collab with Heather because I just think your work is brilliant. I love, love, love what you're doing. So the question is this: when people see your work, they're going to say to us, so what's their like, how big or small does the project need to be? Do you like, what does that look like? Would you do just a
Sure.
bathroom or just a kitchen, or do you prefer to do a whole house? How do you like to work in terms of your workflow?
So right now we are mostly taking on whole homes, but
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be the whole home all at once.
Right.
Um, we have actually found that it is really fun to work in phases because as we really build trust, our clients get more and more adventurous.
Mhm.
And often in the final phase of a house, our clients will say, can you imagine if you had
Wild.
shown that to me on the first go round? I never would have said yes.
That's
Um,
fun.
Yes. And we also say, by the time we have clients who have come back for second and third homes, and by the time we're doing those, we practically don't even need to show them anything because
Mhm.
we do, but we know them so well at that point.
Yeah.
We know their taste, we know their families, we know, how busy they are or if they're homebodies. Um, and so, yeah, we really love these long-term relationships.
That's
But to
awesome.
really answer your question, directly, if someone new was coming in the door, usually we're looking for either, several rooms, most like maybe one floor of the house if it's not
Mhm.
the whole home.
Right.
We do projects that are just decorating if the house has great bones. Um, we might do something that's, primarily a number of rooms that are decorating plus a bathroom.
Mhm.
Right now, we don't do projects that are sort of a single bathroom or just the kitchen.
Mhm.
And part of the reason is I've realized that knowing the client is so important to us
Right.
and it takes time.
Mhm.
And so the amount of time that it takes us to get to know you,
Mhm.
you're putting some money into design hours
Yep.
that don't pay off in a single bathroom.
Right. Agree.
But really do when our process is a little bit front loaded. So by the time we're doing that final space, it's fast because we know exactly what we're doing.
Very cool.
So we're always thinking about value for our clients and investing their money wisely. And so for a small project, it just doesn't make sense to invest in the time it takes for us to get to know you.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So the next question I have for you, as I ask all my designers and builders out there, is during COVID, as we know, our material and supply chain challenges became more of an issue. So, how are you feeling about your workflow in terms of timetables these days with your projects?
Sure. So I will say that it's getting better, but it is not resolved.
No.
And and um, we're definitely seeing, we prefer to install a finished product all at once, and it's just really difficult right now.
Yep.
So we're finding that projects will be in sort of a normal development time, but then the execution might be, 4 installs over 6 months, which is a challenge.
Yeah.
But we do our best to really prepare the clients for how hard it is to live in a partially finished space.
Right.
But it's just the reality of the industry.
Right. I think everybody's feeling that reality. And I don't know that there's an easy solution for that, or nor is it going to be resolved in the near future. So it's just part of the commitment of wanting to make that change and embracing it.
Absolutely. And I will say that every time we have a discovery call, one of the main topics of conversation is how long it will be.
Oh, always. Yeah.
Yes, we've actually even stopped asking the question, when do you need your project done by? Because it almost doesn't matter. We just don't have that much control. And so we really work hard to manage expectations up front because it's a long haul right now.
So give me a sense of the size of projects you've dealt with over the years, like in terms of square footage and timeline.
Sure.
How does that look for you?
So the biggest house we've done, we are currently working on, and it's about 7,000 square feet. It's been in development for 2 years, and we're just kind of in the good part right now. Things are demoed and construction is happening.
Congratulations. That's a fun project.
Thank you. It's really beautiful and has stretched us creatively. I will say, I love a mid-sized house. I really love a sort of 2,500 to 3,500 square foot home, because I feel like we can help clients really stretch their budget to do every corner. When you've got a bigger house, it's just so many more things to invest in. And we love a truly finished product, which Becky's house really is.
Oh my gosh, it totally is. It totally is. It's so exciting to be able to blend all this beautiful photography you were able to take. So you want to drop a little pitch for the photographer because he did a brilliant job.
Sure. So on most of our local projects and some of our long distance projects, we work with Josh Grubb's photography. We actually met when we initially shot Becky's house for Minneapolis St. Paul Home and Design.
Wow.
Yes, that was the first time we worked together. And we have really great creative chemistry, and we just have a great time photographing these homes. And I will say, I was surprised because if you look at his portfolio, it's a little bit cleaner and more modern than our interiors, but he has such a beautiful way with light. And he really brings this sense of mood to the photographs in a way that I just adore.
Oh my gosh. I think every single picture is just yummy. That is the word. I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff is just yummy to look at. I mean, the moment I got, Becky was literally texting me from Ireland. And the moment I got that text, I'm like, oh my God, I have got to call this Heather right now and interview you because I was just in love. So nice. It's just really beautiful. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you. Well, great clients do make it easier for
I know.
sure.
I totally agree with that. So in terms of your collab, so you have your photographer, your design crew, was there anybody else in the mix on that particular project that you want to mention?
Sure. Wallpaper was really critical in that project,
Mhm.
and paint finishes, though I will say Becky did all the painting herself.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
I know.
Impressive.
Yep, she loves a painting project. Um,
That's amazing.
but David Dubose of Cutting Edge Ink is our wallpaper installer. And I will tell you that hanging wallpaper on the ceiling is no
Not a
fun
joke.
task.
Yeah. No.
And we've got it in 2 spaces there. So he was really an important part of that. We also have some really wonderful window treatments through the project, and we work with Union Place in Excelsior for all of our window treatments.
Wonderful.
Um, and I have to say, I love that we do fully custom treatments with them, but we also sometimes modify things, which I think is a really great kind of budget friendly way to get a custom look for less. So we might take, Pottery Barn panels, but add traditional pleats so that they feel very polished.
Mhm.
And I love that they're willing to do that with us.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
and then, of course, we have to mention Ohana, which is a design build firm in Mendota Heights. We
Mhm.
worked with Maggie, who spearheaded the addition and renovation.
Beautiful work.
So, yes, and Maggie was a great partner. We love her. She did the layouts and the architectural drawings for the bump out because we actually expanded the kitchen,
Mhm.
and added on the mudroom and the powder room at the back.
Amazing.
And then we did all of the material selections. So that was a really fun collaboration with Maggie.
Amazing. So what I'm going to do, we'll be hustling. I'm going to get everybody's intel so we can drop each of them. Because what a beautiful story and a great way to show what a collaboration looks like. And there's a lot of people out there that are going to look at this entire project and want to know. And it's a great way to kind of, I call it the perfect trifecta of design, build, and really finding a way to build out a platform to share the message, which is the photography. So brilliant on all fronts. Heather, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience? I just really wanted them to meet you, and I cannot wait to show this photography to everybody. So, Heather, it's been such a pleasure interviewing you today. I cannot wait to share your intelligence with the community and share the knowledge and the design when we list this house. They're going to love your work. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's great talking to you and really fun to be on your podcast.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely do it again. I can't wait to learn more about that 7,000 square foot project. I love those projects. They're so fun to see.
They are fun to do.
Yeah, indeed. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on Fly the Coop. Have a great day.